8. All right. We're talking about the Q4 mindset. Set us in, Nick.
Okay. You go ahead and do a banner for us too, if you can.
Yep.
So you guys, all right. The biggest art selling time of the year is coming. Fourth quarter, October, November, December. We've talked about how this is going to be the biggest ever by far. If you haven't heard us talking about this, I'll rattle through a couple of things. Number one, we've been seeing Black Friday levels of sales every single week at art storefronts on our individual artist and photographer websites, okay? Their own websites where they're driving their own traffic to, okay? Very key. Now, we've also talked about how a stat came out. It was like widely published in the news, in the business news. And it was that that 2019, like all of 2019 sales, okay, of e-commerce, just think about this. All of 2019 sales of e-commerce are going to be matched by the end of Q3 2020. That means by the end of September this year, okay?
30 days.
30 days, the United States economy will have done the same level of 2019 e-commerce volume in 2020 in only 3 quarters, okay? Which is unbelievable.
Without the
biggest quarter by far, which is the fourth quarter. Now, this is the whole economy. So you have to appreciate how big that is. And what is that? So if you just literally take that alone and you realize what's going to happen to this fourth quarter, if you think about Q1, Q2, and Q3 of this year, they've got to be dramatically higher than they've ever been, probably double, triple, whatever, to make up for that fourth quarter, right? So this fourth quarter is going to be a tsunami. It's going to be a monster, right? Online. And so what does that mean, right? That brings me back to the Q4 mindset, okay? Now, here's what I want you guys to understand about this. So if you're an artist or a photographer and you have the biggest art selling time of the year coming up, you have to take advantage of it. If you have not been taking advantage of it for the last few years, right? If you have not, then you've got bigger problems. You need to figure out why you have not known that this is the biggest art selling time of the year and why your sales haven't been the biggest, in terms of percentage of the year. A lot of artists and photographers do 40, sometimes 50% of their total sales in the fourth quarter, right? So going into this right now, I'm looking at it and I go, okay, we're 30 days away from the fourth quarter, from October 1, essentially, right? And you've got to be that's when the marketing is going to begin. That's when you should be starting your marketing for the fourth quarter to tee up Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and all the Christmas sales and all of that, right? If you haven't had good Christmases, Christmas sales or holiday sales, you haven't done all that marketing, all that pre-marketing that you have to do up front. There's a whole process there. It's not just a run a Black Friday sale out of the blue, okay? That's how you have the worst results you possibly could have. You got to lead up to it. There's a whole dance that you got to do, a whole romance, okay? Now, knowing that this is going to be such a big year, everybody that's out there right now, there's people who are just getting started. There's people who have been, maybe Art Storefronts members for a long time, or maybe there's non-Art Storefronts members who have been running their art business or photography business for a while. And what you want to do right now is understand how big it's going to be and start mentally preparing and thinking about and planning now, today, for what it's going to be like for you, what your days, weeks, and months are going to look like for the rest of the year, okay? It pretty much ends around Christmas, but there's some tactical that we have at the end of the year too, to close out the year, but you've got to get in that mode and in that mindset, because I've been telling some of our Art Storefronts members, I said, look, if you need to take a vacation right now, literally now, or take really enjoy this Labor Day weekend, take an extra day or two on top of it, off of work or whatever it is, to get your head straight and get some rest. Because if there's any time to put effort in, if there's any time to focus, if there's any time to say to yourself, I'm not going to complain about marketing, I'm not going to complain about doing the work for my business, this is it. This is it. This is where the return on your time is going to be. This is where like you're supposed to like reap all of the work that you've done all year long. So give yourself like, sit down and think about it. Like, okay, I haven't put in as much time into marketing as I've wanted to. I'm going to, starting a week from now, start focusing on it, maybe twice as hard as I have, right? 3 times as hard as I have. I'm going to do everything I can to have a great fourth quarter. You have the warning right now. You have the chance, okay? If you focus like crazy right now and you really do the marketing and you work hard and you make that commitment for the fourth quarter, you're going to end up way better off than you were last year. Way better. You could be 2, 3, 4, 5 times as good as you were last year if you really execute hard and you work at it. And so I want to say that because, a lot of like most artists and photographers, they're fighting against themselves all year long about putting in the work, and doing the marketing. Pat, you know that, right? Constant thing. Well, I'm here to say, if you did that all year long, or if you kind of cheated yourself, and only right? Only you guys know. You know yourself if you've cheated yourself, if you've been lazy. This is the time to not. You have a chance right now to go all in and go after it and not be lazy about it and like just run through the finish line, right? Like don't just jog and then just lob a couple of things here and there and expect it to go well. Take it seriously. I really want you guys to do that, okay? We're nonstop going to be talking about Q4, the fact that it's the biggest art selling time of the year. Like we just can't, because we can't stop banging the drum hard enough.
Yeah, period. It's interesting. I got a comment on YouTube about worrying about whether or not the election is going to affect this Q4, and it's a great question. Well timed, well asked. There's always an election. There's always a something. It doesn't change people's buying behaviors. What changes people's buying behaviors is being in a massive recession or not having any disposable income. Neither one of those seem to be the case right now. If you're talking about it from an ad standpoint, there's a little shenanigans that goes down with ads every time around election season. But what's really interesting is that the majority of the money that pours into the ecosystem in terms of ads, it doesn't affect all states the same. They only spend money. They're so smart now that they only spend the money on the states that they think is in play for whatever candidate or whatever. And so,
the swing states, right?
Yeah. So you can be in a situation where, okay, let's just selfishly say California is one of the biggest markets in the entire United States. Do you know what is not up for debate in California? Who's winning for president? So
correct.
So none of the ads are going to flow into California in the slightest. And so that market is wide open. And so you kind of have to do that on a state-by-state basis. But, if you're marketing long enough, it's so funny because let me give you an analogy. And I hope you've seen this cheesy movie. Nick, maybe you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen it or not. It's the Alien movie, and the name escapes me right now. Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, Men in Black, right? And Will Smith for the first time, okay? And I'm not knocking you, Eli. I'm just saying it's a good analogy. Will Smith for the first time sees that the alien is coming, right? And he's got that little tiny gun, the little squirrel or whatever it is, and he grasshopper or whatever they call the gun, and he goes out into the street and he's like shooting it in the street. And Tommy Lee Jones, the veteran, i.e., he's been around a while, i.e., I'm sad to say, is Nick and I, we're getting old, pulls him apart and goes, Will Smith's like, the alien's getting away, and he's like, kid, the alien's always getting away. There's always some sort of Carillion death ray or whatever he says coming. And the point is that you can't live your life and run your business based on attempting to think through what these individual situations that are going to crop up, because they always crop up. They always crop up. The only thing you can do is have a good plan and stick to it. Okay. You have to have the good plan and stick to it. There are always going to be these environmental factors. If you want to take it to the sports analogy, there's always going to be a fan that runs onto a field and someone gets distracted, or the referee making a crappy call. All that's always going to happen. Right. But you just have to have your game plan and you have to do the best you can. And you certainly don't stop and you certainly don't sit it out. Right. Like you work on your game plan and you stick to it. And again, we're banging this drum about Q4 because we want to get you ready. And you know what? Like Nick and I are sick of banging the drum on it to a certain extent, because you feel that's our own confirmational bias of like, wait a minute, we've already said this. It's sort of like, when you send an email and you're like, I can't email my list again. I sent that email already. You have to understand we are, and what we understand is like, I have to do this again and again and again and again, because effective frequency, the number of times that it gets into your head, there's still time between now and the true start of Q4, despite the fact it keeps moving up week. There's still time to get your house in order, proverbially speaking,
yes,
and really take advantage, really do a great job. And guess what? It exists. It is truth for the person that's never sold anything and is just about to start, all the way up to the person that's multiple six figures a year and churning. Right now, this Q4, it is looking like the tsunami of all tsunamis, right? It is going to be the biggest one. I genuinely believe this. In 10 years, we can rewind the tape after it's over and look at the data, and all the data will come out. I'm settled on it.
It's literally like a stamped envelope. Like it's done. Like it's like a guarantee. And you're not, this is not some like out on the limb prediction. Everyone's predicting that. Every smart economist, business person, because all the data is in about the online sales, you know?
E-commerce, home decor, art sales through the roof. Larger amount of disposable income, no events, no vacations, no concerts, no dinners. People aren't hiring babysitters. More disposable income, working from home. How many more factors that are so out of left field that are so not the norm need to combine and level up the freaking normal Q4? Like, it's crazy, right? It's crazy.
So Philip Heim is asking, he's an Art Storefronts member. My marketing this year to date has been minimal at best. Should I start my Q4 marketing now or wait until October 1? Philip, just because you're an Art Storefronts member, just follow the art marketing calendar right now. Like, pick up, tomorrow's Thursday. There are tasks to do for Thursday and Friday. Just come to the workshop tomorrow, get on point, and do all the rest of the marketing that we are advocating for all of September. You don't have to guess. We're going to lead you right into Q4. You just follow exactly what we want you to do on the exact timing. And we will have you in good order. So no worries.
Yep.
Yeah. And look, the thing is that when it comes to so with the election's at the beginning of November, right? Black Friday is towards the end and Cyber Monday. So the election's going to have no impact at all. And there's really no correlation there, But I think the thing that I think this is a really good topic to discuss is why is Q4? Why has it become this mythical, just crazy time? And I think that's worth discussing because you and I have really experienced this over the last 10 years, in several different businesses, and it's can you still hear me?
Got a phone call. Pick it back up. I got a phone call. I had to delete it.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right. Of course. He gets a phone call. This is what happens, guys. This is what happens. But okay, right back into it.
And it was a spam call.
Yeah, exactly. Messing up a live stream for us. All right. So, why has over the last 10 years, we have watched this Q4, the fourth quarter just become this crazy situation, right? And it's because so much business has gone online, and companies are able to offer these deals. And so it started off obviously many years ago with the big box retailers. We've all seen the videos of people trampling each other, going into Walmart and waiting in lines, right? But as companies went online and they started offering their Black Friday deals and then came up with Cyber Monday that never used to exist, right? And then all the deals throughout the rest of December, what's happened is that the consumer has become conditioned to know that the deals are coming. The deals, do you not know that? Are you look, I will tell you this straight up. I think every year, probably for the last 3 or 4 years, I think every year about Q4 when I'm getting close to it, I'm like, oh, we need to get a couple of TVs, replace a couple of TVs. Wait until Black Friday. That's for sure. If you got a month to wait or 2 months to wait, you're like, of course I'm going to wait. I'm going to get the best deal and I might as well just buy 2 or 3 right then. Or whether it's a bunch of clothes or it's a bunch of art, or it's gifts, your gift for your spouse, So we've all been conditioned that way. And so as a business owner, okay, you either play the game or you don't, right? And I want you guys to play the game, okay? I want you to understand how it works. and have the best strategy for it. And so you're not getting played by the game, you're playing the game.
Yeah, I like it. You got to set your own terms, man. You know, you have to set your own terms.
You got to be in control. You got to be in the driver's seat, right? So what do? If you don't do this, what is the alternative, Pat? The alternative is all the demand gets sucked out of the market. Everyone's wall space that had open wall space got offered art, right? And they bought it. And so all the wall space is filled. And then you're sitting there, you know, with your hands open saying, hey, will you buy my stuff? Right? Like we buy, and like you had no marketing. Nobody even saw what you were going to do. You had no incentive for anyone. And you're literally last in line. You are the last person in line, like wondering why other people are selling hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and you're not. Period.
Yeah. The other thing
straight up
we didn't even touch on too is that, like, you know, there's the normal pent up demand for art and photography. Okay. Where is that normally sold? Combination of everything. Yes. A little bit of it's online. Yes. Some of it's in your local galleries. Yes. Some of it's in the craft fairs and shows. Okay. Obviously craft fairs and shows, not coming back at any strength. Those guys are trying to do virtual ones. God love them, on the right direction, have no idea about the technical issues that goes on with that. So it's terrible. Galleries, too many are closed. Okay. Trying to blow out excess inventory, problems up and down the stack. Then also excess demand for being in our homes. Like it really does, just for me, the perfect storm. So what else do you have on mindset?
That's pretty much it. I think that everybody, like, just, you know, take a moment, think about your next 3 to 4 months, you know, plan it out. As like Philip Heim, he like perfect example right there, right? Is he said he hasn't been doing the marketing that he wanted to do. I told him exactly what he should start doing right now. And he's like, sweet, I'm on it. That's his comment on Facebook, right? That's the way that you guys got to be thinking right now, is like, get after it, you know? And if you're starting out right now, and if you're like you're thinking about launching, and you're like on the precipice of launching an art and photography business, there's not a better time. There is not a better time to just go and get in action. You're about to have the biggest demand of the year right in front of you. Don't wait. If you push this back 4 months, like you're going to miss all of that demand. And there's still demand at the beginning of the year and stuff, but this is the big chunker, right? You'd love to get that if you can.
Yeah, this is the peak of the peak. And, you know, it's like anything else, right? Like I always love zooming out and pivoting to an analogy. Your big race is coming up.
Yes.
Your big race is coming up.
Thank you.
If you knew that, what would you do? Doesn't matter if you are fat and out of shape and you know you can't even find your running shoes, and you couldn't even probably put them on because you can't see over your belly, or you're pretty fit. Like, you need to get out and start doing some little training runs, right? They don't need to be long ones. What do the training runs consist of? Put that email list you have together and start emailing it. Start posting more on the socials. Let people know you exist. Let people know you're creating art. Show people your new stuff. Have some flash sales. Start mastering the mechanics of how you go live, like what we're doing right now. Show off some of your art in those capacities. You better order some. If you're not an originals type, you'd better order some prints so you have them, so they're ready to show and they're ready to move. That's it. Those are the exercises that you can start doing right now to get ready for the big race. And look, if your goal is to sell more art and sell more photography, there is no better time to launch that career, or you already got that career launched, to capitalize on what's going on right now. And there's plenty of time left. And by plenty of time, I mean not a lot of time left.
Yeah. You know, and I love your analogy with, like, yes, the big race is coming up, right? The Super Bowl. It's your Super Bowl, right? Like, take it seriously. You know, I love when, like, in January or February, you know, I'll talk to some artists or photographers that come into art storefronts, right? And they're asking for advice. And I ask them, I say, how was your fourth quarter? And they're like, what do you mean the fourth quarter? You know, I'm like, you should have sold a lot of art. What did you do? Oh, nothing really, like, not much, not anything other than I do any other time of year. And I sit and they ask me how I can help them. And I go, you got way bigger problems. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, the fact that you didn't know that this was the biggest time of the year and you weren't prepared and chomping at the bit and like executing like crazy and seeking help if you couldn't get it. The fact that you didn't know any of that stuff and weren't doing any of that stuff is a way bigger problem than should I do Facebook ads right now? Or should I use this mail provider versus this? Or what niche should I, focus on, right? Like those problems mean nothing.
Talk about lessons. Like, there's this consensus that when you have a business and you're working on the business and it's starting to grow and it's doing well, it actually makes a ton of sense to bring in a consultant or bring in a fresh pair of eyes. And the concept is that you're working in the business instead of on the business, right? You're so wrapped up and involved in the day-to-day stuff that it gives you a tunnel vision, and you've got your various different biases. And when you bring fresh eyes in, the fresh eyes come in and they tell you, they're like, did you think about this? And you're like, wait a minute, we've never done it that way. Oh my gosh, that's the most brilliant way we could possibly do it. What was I doing? Thank you so much, right? So prior to COVID, Nick and I were not getting the reps and sets, okay, of talking to as many photographers and artists as we do on a daily basis. I'm answering directly. I tracked it last week, 150 and 250 questions throughout the various different webinars and office hours and sessions that we have talking to artists. And you learn things, okay?
That's a lot.
You learn to not assume anything, okay? And we get passionate about this stuff and we get fired up about this stuff, but we were working in the business instead of on the business. And if I'm the consultant, I'm coming into Nick and I, and in this case, it's been having all the conversations as a consultant saying, do not assume. Do not assume that an artist or a photographer actually knows that Q4 is the greatest time to sell all year long, right? Do not assume that an artist or photographer knows that the only way to survive in this business is DTC, direct to consumer. No middlemen, no 50-50 splits, not selling through galleries, keeping all of your contacts, being able to market to them in perpetuity. You can't assume these things. We can't assume these things. It's like, you're just going along and you fall right into your normal mode, right? Like we got to stop. We got to like pump the brakes. Like traditionally for e-commerce merchants, which artists and photographers are, Q4 is the biggest sales time of the entire year. It's been that way for year after year after year. We see some of our customers that sell more in the Q4 than they do the other 3 quarters of the year combined. So they sell so much in Q4. Yes, as a result of Black Friday. Yes, as a result of Cyber Monday. Again, analogies. It's like when you're fishing for sharks, like in Jaws, and when they're throwing that, blood and guts over and it's attracting all the sharks. It's called chumming the water. This consumer society that we live in, every retailer and their brother are throwing out deals and publishing things in the magazines and talking about sales, and they're publishing flash sales. And all that does is whip us human beings up into a frenzy. It's no different than throwing everything out into the water. And as a result of that, more everything is sold. Just more everything is sold. So Q4 is the one quarter, if I could pick a quarter to be selling my art or photography year in, year out, would be the one, right? And that's not common knowledge. So we have to state that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll tell you something interesting today. I was working with your marketing team, today. Yep. And we were like, we were looking at like all the Q4, stories that we have going all the way back to like 2017. Okay. And two of the success stories we had in 2017. Okay. 2017 Q4, Meg Knappenberger, painter, sold 58,000 in fourth quarter, 58,000 a painter. Right. And then John Martel, photographer, 45,000 in the fourth quarter of their art. Okay. 2017, Pat, 2017.
Yeah, established artists though. They didn't start yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't start yesterday. But like, what are they going to do this year? What are they going to do this year? If that was 2017 and this is 2020 with the biggest fourth quarter, it's just like, whoa, but shows you guys, like, if you learn, how to run this business the right way, direct to consumer, and you build that skill set and you invest in yourself, like, you can have those types of numbers potentially. And most importantly, like Pat said, you're not sharing it with anyone. You're making the most money from your work. You own the customer list. You own everything. That's the key, right? That is the key. You should be owning everything in your business. That's how you build a business. That's how you build an art business that has consistent income at the end of the day. How do we know that? Because it's the only way anybody is doing it, right? On our platform or off. That's it. It's not that hard. Follow what the people that are the most successful are doing, okay? And do that. Follow that business model. Take the things that are killing everyone, putting them out of business, including getting the rug pulled out underneath them during a pandemic, and avoid those things like the plague, and understand what they are. Take advantage of them if you have those opportunities, but don't make them the basis of your business. Don't make them the foundation, because that's when you're going to be in real trouble.
Let's assume we've got you nodding your head. Yep. Okay. Nick, Patrick, I get it. Q Thor, what do I do from here? If you're a customer, you're covered. We're obviously going to be going crazy on this. If you're not a customer, you're curious what we do. Maybe this is the first time you've seen a stream. You're like, who are these yahoos? What do they know? We have Tuesdays, Thursdays, Art Business Mornings. It's a show focused solely on art and photography, marketing, and business. We are going to be covering from now till Q4 all of the ways, all of the things we should be doing. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Instagram. You can find it on our Facebook page at Art Storefronts. YouTube is probably the best, easiest to binge it there. Independent of that, thrice weekly, we run art business workshops. Very easy way. There's a link in the description anywhere you get this aside from Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you have to come to our website. You can register for those. You can come on. We will get you on a path with all of the various different strategies that you need to do between now and then. How to warm people up, what omni-channel marketing, how to run a sale, how to orchestrate all the steps, how to contemplate through Facebook and Instagram ads, how to run a flash sale that whips up a frenzy that goes right into your main sale, how to extend a sale, all of these various different things. We're just going to be talking about it and talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. That's enough, but that's just the truth. And then once it's done and dusted, we're going to come back and we're going to be bragging about it and showing off all the numbers. Why? Because as it turns out, there's always another Q4 coming. There's always another Q4 coming, and we're always trying to get better, and we're always trying to make our customers
always
better. And that's the game. And that's the game. Full stop.
Yep. So this Q4, we're gonna make this one bigger than ever by a long shot,
with some help from some environmental circumstances that are way out of our control. But yes,
we
are.
Yeah, and another announcement I'll mention. We, you and the marketing team were so kind to extend the summer sale. You guys extended the summer sale today. If you're on our email list, you probably saw that announcement. We have a summer sale. And that's your chance for the Q4, right? You could save a bunch of money to join Art Storefronts at a discount. Okay, so if you're interested, request a demo. That's your next step. There should be a link in this post or in the Instagram bio. You can always go to the website too. It's in the link is always in the upper right-hand corner. There's a big button that says request a demo. Go ahead and click that or fill out that form. It takes about 20 seconds if you're interested in learning more. And then our outreach team will reach out to you, take a look at your artwork, learn about what your goals are and make sure you're a good fit, take you through a demo of everything that we provide, the proper art gallery website technology, as well as the ongoing business and marketing consulting. Request a demo if you're interested in learning more. Anyways, Ben Fink, good to see you. Ben's a member. He said he's been slammed with commercial clients. That's good news. Love to hear that. But Q4 is right. Ben, Q4 is right around the corner though. Got to get right back on it.
Yep. Got to water the other pot. It's so fascinating to see. And, Ben's a perfect example. It's like, that makes us so happy because again, all I care is that the success is coming to your business.
That he's winning,
Yeah, all that matters is the success is coming to your business. And like we deal with a lot of hybrid businesses that have the service component and have the fine art component, all of which is all good. The good news is the majority of the time, those service-based businesses tend to slow down in Q4, right? That's how you know there's a God and he's awesome or she's awesome, however you want to look at it. Larger point is you're going to get a little window to actually take advantage of this thing. So game on. We'll be talking about it more. Wonderful evening.
All right, guys. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow morning, Art Business Mornings with your coffee. at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, 12 Eastern, and we'll get after it.
We need a topic on that. I got to get ready. Okay, bye.
Okay, see you guys.